Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're going to check out a very aggressive elemental deck. So Elemental Tribal, there are a lot of versions of elementals. I just wrote about 3 different elemental decks for tempostorm.com. That article should probably be up by the time that you are watching this video. If not, it will be soon. And the idea here is that elementals can do so many things. There's kind of the combo-y elemental finish with Command the Dreadhorde. There's a mid-range elemental deck that uses Risen Reef, Omnath, and the big elemental knight. What's your name? Thorns. Thorny boy. Yeah, Cavalier of Thorns. And it uses Hydroid Krasis, so it goes really big. That's a pretty interesting elemental deck. And then there's this, which is kind of the tribal aggro elemental deck, using Creeping Trailblazer to pump your other elementals. And then we just have a lot of weird little synergies all over the place. Let's check out some of it. We've got Thunderkin Awakener. This is a 1/2 haste. When it attacks, choose an elemental card in the graveyard with toughness less than Thunderkin Awakener's toughness. So as a 1/2, that usually means 1 toughness cards. Return the card to the battlefield tapped and attacking, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So bringing back 1 toughness creatures, we have cards like Risen Reef that get a little value when they come back, and we have the Scampering Scorcher, which enters the battlefield and creates 2 1/1 red elemental tokens. Now, it also says elementals you control gain haste until end of turn, which is kind of neat, because that can give out haste to other elementals on the battlefield, although gaining that mid-combat from the Awakener isn't that helpful. The tokens also don't die. They stick around. However, we're not quite done with the synergy, because Thunderkin Awakener, if its toughness gets bigger, can bring back other things. A way to increase the toughness is Overgrowth Elemental, 2 and a green for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on another elemental. Whenever another creature you control dies, gain a life. If that creature was an elemental, put a +1/+1 counter on Overgrowth Elemental. So you put a counter on the Awakener. Now the Awakener, if it attacks and one of these is in your graveyard, can bring it back and put another counter on the Awakener and keep making it bigger, so hopefully it can also get back Omnath, the amazing Locus of the Royal, who deals damage equal to your elemental count and gets bigger when you play lands, and if you have 8 lands you draw cards. It's fun. But that's not enough. Let's get Chandra into the mix, along with her kitty. But Chandra, Acolyte of Flames 0, says create 2 1/1 elemental tokens. They gain haste, sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. It doesn't say exile them, which is a clause you often found on these kinds of cards. When you sacrifice them, that counts as them dying, meaning that when you sacrifice them, you gain 2 life, and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on Overgrowth Elemental. Topping off all the shenanigans is Chandra the Novice Pyromancer to use a +1 to give elementals +2/+0 until end of turn, which is her main mode. And then otherwise we've got 4 shocks, just because the deck is not that fast. It starts its curve on 2 and then moves into 3, and it's not like they're the most overpowering 2 and 3 drops. Your opponent's stuff can definitely be better. Shock can buy you time and get you some turn 1 tempo, and there's just a lot of things that Shock kills right now. It's quite the removal spell, the only decent 1-mana removal spell, unless you count Disfigure in black, which is new to the party. We also have 2 copies of Domri's Ambush, because, for one thing, you can put another +1/+1 counter on your Awakener, so it can get back bigger things. And 2, it can hit Planeswalkers, which are still a big part of the meta. In the mana base, we have a lot of shock lands, a few less check lands, like Sulphur Falls and Rootbound Crag, and we run 4 unclaimed territory to help us cast our 3 colors of elemental easier. Blue is definitely our splash color. It's the color we need the least, and it's nice if you can cast it off the territory. But there are definitely turns where you want to cast multiple blue cards, like a Reef and a Royal in the same turn once you've built up your mana. The deck's mostly red, and a card I'm not running is Runaway Steamkin. I don't think the card is quite good enough. It can do a lot with mana, but it doesn't get buffed by your Risen Reef or your Overgrowth Elemental, which are your 3 drops, and it's not like Mono Red, where we have a ton of cheap 1-drop cards. When you have Spectacle, Mono Red has like 20 1-drop cards. Steamkin really needs that to get big fast, and as it is, he's just kind of a baby. It's not particularly strong when brought back by Thunderkin Awakener either, so Steamkin's on the bench. Alright, I've introduced the deck and some of what we're going for here. Let's go play some games. Hey guys, let's take a quick break to talk about Flipside Gaming's Core 2020 Booster Box giveaway. From now until July 15th, you can win an entire box of M20 for free if you follow these steps. Number 1, find $10 or more worth of stuff at flipsidegaming.com that you like. Easy. They have singles, they have sealed product, and they have all the gaming supplies you need. So, number 2, use the promo code CGB before checkout. This saves you 10% and it supports the channel at the same time. Number 3, complete your order. That's it. Even a mono red player can figure it out. Please check out the links in the description to read the giveaway's rules and conditions, and thank you for supporting the channel. May the best mage win. Time for a cat fight. So, some shocks, a kitty, a trailblazer. Yeah, we can try it. It doesn't have any of our heavy hitters, but hopefully a few will be lurking near the top of the deck. Right now the synergy is just kind of mild. A 3-2 Ember Cat's nothing to write home about. Opponent opening with a Sulfur Falls. I like just shocking here. Having the shock available, shock to shock, trying to send a message. Opponent wants to ramp up their cat, I'll ramp up mine. Alright, so they're also red-blue, they play nothing. Here, kitty kitty. We'll be the first mover with the cat. Okay, Grixis, not quite what I expected. And a Narset that says no card drawing. What you got? Widespread brutality, that is a problem. However, Chandra can play around it a little bit here. Let's get her on the battlefield. And let's make those 1/1s.
Hey, these little guys are great.
Yeah, ain't they cute? This should put a little flair in there with the kitty cat. So widespread brutality only kills the Ember Cat right now, since Chandra's diversifying our threats. If the opponent spends a turn on... okay. I mean, that's a card, I guess. Going face? Dreadhorde Butcher can hit a Planeswalker to get bigger. It's a thing you can do, alright? So, right here we could use the Domri's Ambush. And if we do, the Dreadhorde Butcher will not be able to kill the Ember Cat or the Chandra when it dies, so I guess that's okay. I can also then play the Creeping Trailblazer with the mana from the Ember Cat and make two 2/1s and hit the opponent for 4, which I think is pretty good. Or do I want the +1/+1 counter on the Trailblazer? The Trailblazer is a good target anyway. I think we need it on the cat, but what about a Tyrant Scorn? I guess we can check for some stick first. If there's no stick, then we can put it on whatever we want. No stick. Oh, crap. That didn't work out the way I wanted to at all, because now the Butcher kills one of these. I'm not smart. I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. Let's just do something stupid. Now the opponent has to Brutality, which gets rid of the Butcher. But I lose my board, which is terrible. This turn went awry. I had a good plan, and then I got greedy. I wanted to see how to sneak out the Trailblazer, and I did it before because I wanted to play around a removal spell, but it was a very bad play. Fortunately, our opponent has this stuck in their hand because they only have 1 red source, so not getting punished yet. Lucky me. Alright, so if this dies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, my opponent's at 3, they're dead. Alright, no blocks. 2 aggro.
Hey, I'm meditating here.
And the Chandra even lives? I mean, that's dead by a mile.
They're so cute.
Okay, so I was not legit esports this game in any way, but still pulled it off. Thank you, Chandra. You're way cooler than I am. Red and green, Trailblazers, Acolyte of Flame, Shock. Sure, let's do it. Rock and roll. I'm ready for your turn 1 Llanowar Elf. Yep. Hello. Is that it? Okay. Blazers for days. If the opponent has a shock, that's unfortunate. Nope. They're just playing on full control mode. Red-white. Swiftblade Vindications. Okay. Ooh, Omnath. If we draw a blue source, that's going to be beautiful. Let's get the Vindicator right off the map and get in there with the Trailblazer. And the beatings are real. I don't expect somebody to play Swiftblade Vindicator and a Sweeper, so there shouldn't be a lot of trouble to playing out our hand. And our Chandra Elementals are pumped. They're going to be lit, bros. Not going to block. You definitely can Tense District Legionnaire it up. That is fine by me. I believe they have the card God's Willing, which is a new card. And that card can give a creature protection from a color of your choice. Let's hit the opponent really hard here.
Pyromancer extraordinaire. Don't worry, I brought company.
Hiya. You're gonna have to think about blocking, sir. Or madam. 5 life is not a lot for an aggro deck facing a 16er. You're going to have to at least consider blocking. I'm going to make you consider blocking. Of course, if Chandra doesn't die here, that's so many elementals coming at you. I think that our opponent has to kill the Chandra. So we might see a Defiant Strike, which could do the job. Geared for Battle will do the job. Is it? Yeah, it's a +1/+1 counter. So that's something. Plus you've got the Oh, the opponent does not kill the Chandra. I don't know what's up with my opponents today. They have weird ideas about magic and how magic works. Get them. Smashings. No blue mana needed. We've got 4 lands. They're in our colors. We have Trailblazer, Chandra, Omnath on the play. Seems lovely. By all means. Perhaps I hide the blue mana so the opponent doesn't know that Omnath, Locus of the Royal, is on the way. You can play a tapped Stomping Ground, Craig, Mountain. Then maybe the opponent isn't thinking about this coming down and killing a 3 or 4 toughness creature. And away we go. Stomping Ground on Stomping Ground. Let's hide the Trailblazer. Let's lead with the kitty. If the opponent plays something cool like a Growth Chamber Guardian, an Omnath would be a wonderful follow-up. Jund colors. Incubation Druid. Wonderful. We're rolling on easy mode today, folks. Zap. So when Omnath enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to the number of elementals you control. 1, 2. You, 2 toughness. Wah-wah! And you get that sweet animation of just the Omnath slap. Like, what did Omnath's forehands say to the face? Slap! They said slap. I've decided they said slap. Okay. So when a land enters the battlefield, +1/+1 counter on a creature, draw a card if you have 8 or more lands. We also have Chandra and the Trailblazer. So we're going to be hitting the opponent really hard. Where do we put the token? Let's put it on the Omnath, because the Omnath will be attacking. The Chandra's Fire Kitty, not so much. Light him up.
Not to brag, but I'm totally stressed. Don't worry, I brought company.
Hiya. How much damage will you take? Those don't stay. New cards, my friends. New cards. So to be clear, I think you definitely should chump block the Omnath in that situation. It doesn't have trample. I guess that's a tilt scoop from the opponent. I don't know what's going on with the games today. This is like the easiest. These are some of the easiest platinum games I think I've ever had, and I don't want to put down my own deck too much, but I don't think it's the deck completely. Welcome to Diamond, and we are battling Diamond versus Diamond. So, we'll see. Maybe they're going to bring it now. We got double Risen Reef. I don't think we've had that today. And with a Chandra, that can be a ton of value. Embercat can make the mana. The Shock can hit a early drop. Let's keep. Once again, I'm going to keep shocking myself to have Shock available because of the tempo. If the opponent starts on a Llanowar Elf, we really need to kill it. We don't want to have Shock rotting in our hand because we have plays for all these other turns of the game. It hasn't paid off for me yet, but I would argue it hasn't hurt me yet either. Alright, Embercat. Did somebody finally bring out their Esper deck? I haven't played Esper today. I knew there was something good about today. What do you take? The power level's pretty flat. I guess taking the Chandra makes some sense. The third Watery Grave goes into my opponent's graveyard. Okay. Let's go ahead and pay 2 life here to get the Reef on. Our opponent's clearly on a slower deck, so getting in 2 damage can matter. There's an Awakener. The Awakeners with the Reefs might really provide a ton of value in this game and keep the cards coming. That's annoying. Now, what do you take out, though? You know about the Awakener, so it seems to make sense to take out the Ember Kitty. But if you let me have double Risen Reef, I'm drawing 2 cards or ramping twice with every elemental. That's pretty good. Trailblazer. Yep, let's Reef them twice. This is also a really good way to recover from a board wipe, by the way, if our opponent blows up our lands. Wow, 3 breeding pools in a row? All right. Hey, 3 Watery Graves, meet 3 breeding pools. Check out this little revealed cards window. It will eventually disappear. Eventually. But look at it go. So now you get to behold the power of the Thunderkin Awakener. Now, sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step does mean we can bring it back again the next turn and the next turn. And they're going to leave a mark because when they attack, the abilities will go on the stack and will target our Risen Reefs first, second. And behold, value. Value! We must has the value. And these will go back to the graveyard. They won't get exiled, so if the Awakeners live, they get to do this again next turn. Which makes the Awakener a bit better, especially against control decks, than I really ever thought it would be. Discard a card, huh? Seems easy to discard a Shock here, right? Novice Pyromancer's okay. And it's a Planeswalker. Overgrown Elemental's another threat. Creeping Trailblazer can double pump these Elementals next turn, but Shock can team up to kill the Bellhaunt. So maybe it's not the right call. I kind of think it's Overgrowth Elemental. This thing can get really big, but it's just another big body against Esper, and I don't think that's particularly strong. So I'm going to drop it off. 2 Shocks. Let's put out a Creepin' Trailblazer. Pump all those to 2. This will make it so that we get a lot more damage in. The opponent will block one of our Bellhaunts, but we can Shock it. Is it better just to have the Reef? It might be just a lot better to have another Reef and get a ton more value. In which case I should have played the Reef first. Oopsie. But that's what I get for reconsidering my plans. Let's do this trick again. It's really fun. Oh yeah, feel it. Oh, the opponent says I want to draw cards. I can't face this anymore. Oh my goodness. So that Esper deck had Thought Erasure, Oath of Kaya, Kaya's Wrath, Basilica Bellhaunt, and then scooped because we drew like a million cards and ramped, and we didn't even draw Omnath yet, which would be a real kicker to draw cards with every land that enters the battlefield. And that's the power of Thunderkin Awakener. It's an angry dog sound. Anyway, this was a fun video. I don't know what's going on with my opponents today. I feel they were very unlucky. I was getting lucky. My hands were fine. I think that this deck presents a variety of threats and is very fun to play. The synergies are different than the typical tribal deck. So I do recommend trying it out if you have the rares and the cards for it. I'm not sure, and I doubt actually that's the best elemental deck. I think the elemental mid-range deck and the elemental Dreadhorde deck that I plan to show you in the next few days are better. They just feel better. They traditionally just feel like they have stronger endgames with more powerful cards. So that's why I say that. But I continue to be surprised by this deck, and you should check it out and some of the sweet synergies and things that it can do. It's very fun. You know this is supposed to be fun, right? So, we have a few quick announcements. Please consider checking out my free-to-play video series on my new YouTube channel, the Covert Go Blue free-to-play. Link is in the description. And please also consider subscribing to the Covert Go Blue live channel. Link is also in the description, where I'm going to be putting my Twitch streams after I'm done streaming them over on Twitch, so that my YouTube fans can check out my Twitch stream replays if they really want to. And the free-to-play series is designed for new to Magic players, new Magic players, and back to Magic players, people returning for a long time, to get them into Magic Arena. So please consider checking out my free-to-play channel and subscribing over there. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, you might want to do that too. We do a different deck every day, so if you hate my deck today, wait till tomorrow. There'll be a new one. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.